So the story goes, which I haven't told anybody really, was that it only took us a little bit of time on the hike back to quickly realize that not only were we in a race against time, but also the sun. Because as normally we're used to the sun setting over a flat horizon, this time being in a canyon, we're now dealing with higher mountaintops on both sides, and that cuts down a significant amount of time that we have daylight. Now on the way out to the subway, a fellow hiker had given us a tip to stay in the river to save time. So we used that advice to move back toward our starting point and thought that would give us, more time. Our breaks were fewer, but our urgency was picking up. We knew with the diminishing light that it would be hard to see the trail marker to where we were to go up the cliffside. We got to where we thought there was a location. We couldn't find the marker. We went a little further and recognized absolutely nothing. Things were starting to look very dim. So we backtracked, tried to see if we could find our own way up, and nothing was really looking positive at that point. And it was really setting in that we might have to spend the night down in the canyon. However, we had no tent, none of the proper gear, because it was a day hike and we weren't prepared for that. So imagine that kind of realization to say, what are we going to do? So the only thing I knew to do is I began to pray. I prayed these exact words to God to say, God, show us a guiding light. Show us a direction to get back up the mountainside so we can get back to the car. And those exact words would be answered, because when we were leaving the subway, we had met up with a couple of hikers that were climbing down, rappelling from the other side, but we were way ahead of them. And while we were at the cliff face where we thought we were supposed to find the marker, we heard two voices yelling down. Well, it turns out that they thought that we were that group and they were looking for them. And they didn't realize that, but they had told us where the trailhead. Apparently they could see us, we couldn't see them. And they said which direction to go. Go to the right, you're right. And so we followed it, and of course we never found the original trail tape, but we saw what looked to be footprints, and we followed that up and eventually ran into the trail. But it was getting so dark you could hardly see your hand in front of your face. And then all of a sudden, this light just shone down over us, and we looked up and they were waving this big flashlight. And at least we knew where they were at, and they were close to the top where we needed to get. And we just had enough light to see the trail, and I never used so much speed to get up a steep mountainside like that ever. And I just couldn't wait to get up and thank them. And shortly thereafter, it's like you couldn't hear them at all. I was yelling out, are you still there? Nothing. We thought we heard them, but we were moving at a much faster pace and thought for sure we'd catch up to them. And I told John, I said, well, we'll just see them at the parking lot, because obviously they're waiting for the other group. So we thought. And we kept moving and moving, and finally we didn't hear it. We were hearing the traffic of the road, so we knew we were getting close. Never heard a door shut or anything, and finally got to the parking lot and there was no one there. So you can call it what you will. I'm not saying that, oh, they were angels and they came out of nowhere, but it appears that way. Because if they're waiting for their party, where did they go? Why did they leave? And it's just so awesome that praying for a light to shine our way, there was a light that helped us find our way back to our car and not have to be out in the dark, out in that canyon overnight. So a scary situation turned great through the grace of God.